Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Brilliant as the Sun, a retelling of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Divine Protection. We're going to be reading from chapter 12, Vritra's Glorious Death. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhete girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Dintarinam Paramanandamadhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Indra mounted Eravat and turned away. He had no desire to fight a great devotee. Verses 1 and 2. Vritra watched in alarm. He wanted only to die a hero's death and go back to Krishna. Indra had to fight. He shouted at him, "Stop, where do you think you are going?" Indra turned to him, "I will not fight you. What, either you kill me or I will kill you." Vritra took up his trident and whirled it above his head. The gods gasped. He reminded them of the powerful demon Kaitab when he attacked Vishnu at the time of the universal inundation. Hurling his weapon with tremendous force, Vritra cried, "O sinful one, die now at my hands." Verses 3 to 5. As it hurled toward Indra, the trident resembled a blazing meteor. Indra instantly discharged his thunderbolt and cut the trident down in the air. He released his thunderbolt a second time and severed Vritra's arm. It fell to the ground like a huge serpent, but Vritra was undaunted. Taking up a mace with his other hand, he rushed at Indra, leaping high into the air. He brought the mace down on Eravat's head. The elephant reeled and sunk to its knees. Again Vritra swung his mace, this time striking Indra with a powerful blow to his jaw. Indra fell from his mount and dropped his thunderbolt. Vritra's undaunted heroism amazed the watching gods, but when they saw Indra was again in mortal danger, they lamented, "Alas, alas." Verse 6. Indra slowly dragged himself to his feet, dazed and embarrassed at again being overpowered by his enemy. His thunderbolt lay a few feet away, but he dared not to pick it up. Breathing heavily, Vritra stood back and lowered his own weapon. "Go on, Indra, collect your thunderbolt and kill your enemy. This is no time to feel sorry for yourself." Indra cowered like a cornered animal, not daring to flee or fight. Verse 7. Vritra encouraged him, "Do not be discouraged. None but Lord Vishnu can expect to win every encounter. We who have accepted material bodies sometimes win and sometimes lose according to his will, for he creates, sustains and destroys, and he knows everything." Verses 8 to 11. Krishna controls every living being, including your gods who preside over the planets. Our karmic destiny traps us exactly like birds caught in a net, and he decides what our reactions will be. Deluded people think their physical, sensory and mental strength are born out of their own bodies alone, but everything depends on the Lord. As a wooden puppet moves by the puppeteer's desire, we all dance according to Krishna's desire. Everyone depends on him. Without his mercy, not even the three Purusha avatars, along with the material elements, can create the cosmos. Verse 12. Fools do not understand that in every situation we depend on Krishna. They think their parents produce their material bodies, which are then destroyed by other agencies such as tiger and enemy or illness. Actually, Krishna alone creates and destroys all living beings through these different instruments. Indra did not move. Verses 13 and 14. Vritra tried again to encourage him. "Hear me, Indra. Sometimes we lose everything despite our best effort because Krishna wills it. Since the result of all endeavors depends on Krishna's will, do your duty without thinking about fame or defamation, victory or defeat, life or death. Stop worrying about the outcome of the fight. Get a hold of yourself." Indra said weakly, "No, I cannot fight." Verse 15. Vritra let out a short laugh. "Do you not know that our bodies act under the influence of nature's three modes? Being material, they do not affect us. The eternal souls, we the embodied souls, merely observe the actions and reactions of the body. If you understood this, it would liberate you from fear and other such material feelings." Verse 16. Vritra pointed at his smashed weapon and severed arm. O my enemy, look at me. My weapon is destroyed and my arm severed. Can you not see me? I am as good as defeated. Still I stand here for battle. I am not discouraged, even in the face of defeat. Why then are you hesitating to do your duty? Verse 17. The demon swept his remaining arm around the battlefield. Think of this battle as a gambling match. Our lives are the stakes. The arrows are the dice and our mouths are the game board. Who knows who will be victorious? It all depends on providence. Verse 18. Indra frowned. Was Vritra trying to lure him to his death, or was he being sincere? How was it possible for a demon to have so much devotion to Krishna? The god remembered Prahlad and Bali. They too were born in the demon race, and yet their devotion far excelled his own. Vritra may indeed be a great devotee. Feeling somewhat reassured, he smiled at the demon. Verse 19 of Vritra, although born among the demons, it seems you have attained spiritual perfection. Otherwise, how is it possible that you have such good discrimination and endurance in the face of danger and difficulties? I think you must indeed be a perfect devotee of Krishna, the super soul and friend of all. Verse 20, since you are no longer under the control of the Lord's illusory energy, you are not actually a demon but an exalted devotee. Indra stared at Vritra in puzzlement. How had he become such a great devotee? Narad had instructed Prahlad, but as far as he knew, that was not the case with Vritra. Verses 21 to 22. Tell me, Vritra, he called out, why are you so devoted to Krishna? The mode of passion influences those from your race. It is not a mystery to me. It is a mystery to me that although you are born into a demonic family, you have the mentality of a great devotee. Certainly those fixed in Krishna's devotional service relish the greatest happiness. For such devotees, the pleasures of heaven are insignificant. Verse 23, for some time the two combatants stood on the battlefield and discussed devotional service to Krishna. Finally, Vritra said, Indra, I have been born of the sacrificial fire only to contend with you. Thus I must challenge you to battle. As a warrior, it is your duty to accept my challenge. Come now, we are both equally powerful warriors. It is time to fight. Indra put up his hands and stepped back, remembering what had happened when he slew Vishwarup. He said, I cannot kill you. You are a great devotee. I have no quarrel with you. As they watched Indra from a distance, the gods thought he was frightened. They cried out, do not tarry, Indra, kill him. Indra repeatedly shook his head. No, I will not. A great roar arose from the gods. Kill him now while you still can. Kill him. No, I refuse. He is a devotee. Sin will again taint me. The sages called back. Do not worry about committing a sin, Indra. We will perform an Ashwamedha sacrifice to please Lord Narayan. This will release you from any reaction. Indra again hesitated, but the sages repeatedly reassured him. Finally, urged by the sages, Indra turned to face Vritra. Verses 24 to 26. Vritra raised a huge iron club in his remaining hand, whirled it around and threw it straight at Indra. The god at once smashed it to pieces with his thunderbolt Shataparvan. Then he lopped off Vritra's remaining arm. Vritra, his two arms severed at their roots and bleeding profusely, appeared beautiful like a flying mountain with its wings cut off. Verses 27 to 29. Vritra displayed immeasurable power and continued to attack Indra. He placed his lower jaw on the ground and his upper jaw in the sky. His gaping mouth appeared like the sky itself, and his tongue resembled like a gigantic serpent. It seemed he was about to devour the entire universe. Expanding his body, Vritra ran toward Indra, shaking the mountains and crushing the earth with his every step. Before Indra could work out what he was planning, he swallowed the king of heaven along with Airavat, just as a python might swallow an elephant. Verse 30, the other gods, along with Brahma, the senior progenitors of the universe, and the celestial sages, all became alarmed. They cried out, alas, alas, what a calamity. Verse 31, meanwhile, Vritra's powerful digestive juices engulfed Indra and Airavat. To Indra's surprise, both he and his carrier were unharmed. How had that happened? It could only be because of the mystic powers he had accrued through the practice of Ashtanga Yoga, and the fact that he was wearing Lord Narayan's protective armor which Vishwarup had given him. This was surely the reason he still lived. Verse 32, do not be afraid, Indra said to Airavat. I previously killed the mighty demon Bala. I will get us out of here. He cut through Vritra's abdomen with his thunderbolt, and they tumbled out along with Vritra's entrails. Vritra sunk to his knees, screaming in pain. Indra immediately hurled the thunderbolt to cut off Vritra's head, which was as immense as a mountain peak. Verse 33. With great speed, the thunderbolt revolved around Vritra's neck. For 1 entire year, it cut through the demon's skin, muscles, tendons, and bones. Then, at an auspicious time for dying, Vritra's head fell to the ground. Verses 34 to 35. Great shouts of jubilation arose from the gods. They beat drums and blew horns. The Gandharvas and Siddhas joyfully praised Indra and showered flower petals upon him. As everyone looked on, a brilliant spark came out of Vritra's body and flew upwards. Indra folded his palms in respect. Surely Vritra had gone to the abode of his lord Sankarshan. So we will begin chapter 13 next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.